Meantime, in a blow to the Democrat-led push to pack the Supreme Court, a presidential commission tasked with studying the move says it comes with, quote, considerable risk. That from a draft report released yesterday. Democrats have been pushing to expand the court because they see its past 3 appointments, all confirmed under President Trump, as, quote, politically manipulated by Republicans. Watch.
We have a stilted, illegitimate 6-3 conservative majority on the court that has caused this crisis of confidence in our country.
How can Americans look at the Supreme Court and expect it to do justice, to do equal justice, when it has been so severely politically and obviously politically manipulated?
Mike Davis is president of the Article 3 Project and a former law clerk to Justice Neil Gorsuch. It is very nice to have you on, Mike. I mean, I guess the Democrats are the only ones who think this whole system is broken because the Presidential Commission on the Supreme Court said this, quoting yesterday, the risks of court expansion are considerable, including that it could undermine the very goal of some of its proponents of restoring the court's legitimacy. Recent polls suggest that a majority of the public does not support court expansion. The reform would be perceived by many as a partisan maneuver. Who would have think this would be a partisan maneuver here, Mike?
Well, and even Democrats don't support this. Senate Democrats, including Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, many other Senate Democrats do not support this. President Clinton's 2 appointees to the Supreme Court, the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg and current Justice Stephen Breyer, oppose this. They came out and made the highly unusual public denouncement of court packing because it is so extreme, it's so political, it's so radical. It's a very bad idea, and Joe Biden's own court packing commission has come out and essentially said the same.
And it's interesting because, you know, you say that the caseload for the Supreme Court really does not justify court packing. Explain that if you can for us, Mike.
Well, justices used to actually ride circuit. They used to get on their horses and travel around the country. They would divide up the country by region. That ended in 1891 when we set up the federal courts of appeals. And so there's just no justification. They're not getting on their horses and riding around the country anymore. Their caseload has actually decreased at the Supreme Court. They're hearing less than 100 cases for oral argument every year. They're not overworked. I was there. I can assure you that they're not overworked. And there's just not a need to expand the number of justices.
And what do you think about the concept of term limits for Supreme Court justices?
We have lifetime tenure and pay protection for federal judges for a reason. It's to insulate them from the politics so they can rule on the individual basis of the cases and not worry about their next job. Brown versus Board of Education was unpopular when it was decided, when we provided equal rights for black kids in schools. We don't want judges beholden to politics and worrying about their next job. It's a bad idea, and it's also unconstitutional. You would need to amend the Constitution in order to have term limits for federal judges. And
very quickly, you know, we talked a lot about court packing several months ago, and then it kind of stopped for a while. And as Jonathan Turley pointed out, yeah, that's because the court was kind of ruling in favor of Democrats. What do you think the next step is, very quickly?
I think the next step is the Supreme Court is functioning just fine. And if Democrats want to mess with that, there's going to be a tremendous backlash from the American people.
Mike Davis, good to have you on, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.